It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do. But the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalpost got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8 seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Face. It's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces in the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Pro Baseball Today, right here on the SportsGrid Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. No better place to be, as we said, each and every week than 10 to 12. We get all the baseball in that you need to make you a better handicapper. It's Donnie right side. It's Tom Vecchio. By the way, 1 hour down already. Time flies when you're talking MLB, Tommy boy.
It does. We started off recapping some injuries, whip around the league in terms of odds for divisions, whatever it might be. And now we're going through every single game as we do every single Sunday. We got more to get to.
Larnach, Wallner, we're going to get to them in just a few moments here. But the one thing Tom Vecchio does is he says, you know what? I need a vote for Cy Young, and the only category we need is ERA. That's what I'm getting from the SportsGrid Network, Tom. You are Tommy ERA Vecchio from what we're hearing.
I don't know who you heard that from, but that is some serious libel and slander. That is unacceptable. We can have the ERA XFIP conversation, maybe not with myself, with other hosts here on the network. They're probably not watching right now. Let's be honest. They're probably not watching, but we're not talking about ERA. We're talking about runs, which will be coming from a team up in Minnesota today.
There's people out here that love Major League Baseball. There's people up here that are worried about the NBA ratings. No slander on this show for my guy Tom Vecchio, except pizza slander, which, by the way, pizza might be on the horizon for me today. I'm getting ready for that. But let's head up north here. Minnesota, Tom. Toronto versus Minnesota. That, you know, Bowden Francis on the mound, licking my chops right now for going up against our guy Joe Ryan. 967, 968, a 210 start Eastern. Heavy favorite for the Twins today, Tom. Close to a 180 at most outlets and a total of 8.5. 68, 69-degree temperatures, not great, but double-digit winds blowing out at Target Field today. I got some launch codes here. How about you?
You know, we talk about pitchers that we really like. Like, it's awesome to watch Skeens pitch. It's awesome to watch, Skubal pitch. It's awesome to watch, once Yamamoto and once Ohtani gets back in the mound. Like, there are awesome pitchers that we love to see. But there are other pitchers, as you alluded to with Bowden Francis, that we love because they're terrible. And if you were on board with the Athletics over last night, as I talked about on Game Time Decisions last night with Adam and Brady, we love Charlie Morton because he's terrible. And we got some runs in that game, and that's exactly what we're getting today. Bowden Francis is not a good pitcher for the Blue Jays. When we're looking at this season, an ISO over 200 allowed to lefties, a 419 WOBA allowed to lefties, 3.62 home runs per 9 allowed to lefties, and a 497 xFIP. Add in a 48% fly ball rate. Donnie, you said mid-70s with 10-mile-per-hour wind blowing out. we are getting runs. Now, you can say that the Blue Jays lineup has been so much better, as you talked about at the beginning of the show, but Joe Ryan is an awesome pitcher. So when we're narrowing things down, when it's all said and done, Matt Wallner, Cody Clemens, Trevor Larnach, Byron Buxton, let's cook with those guys.
No, we do want to cook with those guys because Bowden Francis here, last 5 starts, which encapsulates the last 30 days, 22 innings pitched, how about a 6.14 ERA and a 470 xFIP number. But you also try to you break it down and say, okay, what has he been doing terribly here? Bowden Francis is a right-handed pitcher. On the season itself, like you just take a look at his total, 252 batters faced, a 257 ISO power number and a weighted on base percentage of 389. If we look at just the last 30 days, he's actually improved, Tom, against right-handed batters to the tune of 48 batters he's faced, an 091 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 296. But left-handed batters have absolutely crushed him on the season and in the last 30 days. And if you look at that lineup today, Trevor Larnach, 79 at-bats against right-handed pitching as a lefty over the past month. How about a 240 ISO, a 429 weighted on base percentage? You take a look at Wallner, who's only had 16 at-bats, but a 462 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 507. And Cody Clemens, who's a Philadelphia Phillies basically cast-off, has really found his spot in Minnesota, particularly against right-handed pitching. 64 at-bats he's faced, Tom, a 327 ISO and a 445 weighted on base percentage. Lefties are where I'm going in the lineup today for those Minnesota Twins.
I love this spot for them. I have one of these players later for a home run prop. I picked up Cody Clemens on my fantasy team, my dynasty team a couple of weeks ago, so I've been on board with him for a bit. Let's get some runs, and they're probably going to be from the lefties.
No, it's what it feels like. And by the way, Joe Ryan, you're right, has had a really good season so far. If I look at his numbers, it's a 2.89 ERA over his last 5 starts here through 28 innings pitched, so 4.03 xFIP. Now, as we said, high 70s today, winds blowing out close to 15 miles per hour. That Toronto lineup, though, Tom, low Ks, high weighted on base percentages. Is this the one that you say, like, maybe they can get to Joe Ryan, but if you're looking for a total for the game, maybe it plays out if they can participate? Because sometimes you're just trying to bend the rules and say, how can this lineup do well? Like, they've been doing extremely well, Tom, against right-handed pitching over the past month here.
Yeah, I would say this is a scenario where, for as good as Joe Ryan is, like, give me 2-3 runs from the Blue Jays, and then Minnesota does the rest, because clearly the pitching matchup is skewed on one side in favor of the Twins hitters. So if the Blue Jays can scrape across 2-3 against a very good pitcher, Minnesota does the rest, and the over would cash.
Yeah, I think it makes some sense here, because sometimes, again, you're looking at the ballpark. If I told you, hey, 58 degrees, 15 mile an hour wind blowing in, like, man, maybe they can get a home run, maybe it gets over the total. But sometimes, as we talk about, like in Tampa Bay, where it's just hot and the wind is blowing out, we don't care who the pitchers are, because even a great pitcher, Tom, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, still goes to that till. If the other guy gives up 3 runs as well, that's 6 total runs, get a couple in the bullpen here, maybe need extra innings, you can get those statistics done. But Tom and I, we like a couple left-handed batters in that lineup today for those Minnesota Twins. Let's keep it moving. A 210 start here, 969, 970. Kansas City and Chicago. That's the White Sox taking on the Royals. Lorenzen on one side of the mound, Vasil on the other side. An 8.5 at the opening number, Tom. That's now a 9 here across the board. A heavy favorite for Kansas City of 155 overnight. That's backtracked to as low as minus 125 at some outlets today. Kansas City and those new look Chicago White Sox now feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, the White Sox going for a sweep. I guess they're following in the footsteps of the Rockies, who got a sweep earlier in the week versus the Marlins. The White Sox are trying to go for a sweep of for themselves. Mike Vasil, as you said, on the mound, former Mets pitching prospect. He only has 38 innings pitched this year, 16.8% walk strikeout rate, not good. His walk rate is 13%. He's only allowing 0.47 home runs per 9, which tells me he's a ground ball medium contact pitcher, but he does struggle with traffic on bases, and this could be the kind of classic situation. As I've always talked about, it's the Babbitt to death, which is batting average balls in play. It's walk, single, double, where he's never going to get hit for the long ball or hurt by the long ball too much. So when we're looking at the Royals lineup overall since the beginning of May, Bobby Witt, 245 ISO, Vinny P at 204, Isbell's at 200, Miguel Garcia's at 186. I think the offense presumably comes from the Royals, who are the better team. But man, Michael Lorenzen is never a pitcher that I'm like thrilled to back. I don't want to lay juice with Michael Lorenzen. So what we get from the White Sox, Vargas, Elko, Tachman, all these players, ISOs over 200 since beginning of May. There could be some runs.
You remember when Victor Wembanyama came up for his first Summer League game, Tom Vecchio, and he wasn't very good and was like, that guy stinks, man. I can't believe we're hyping him up. He pretty much lived up to the hype. When Jack Caglione, we saw him coming from a long way away down in Florida, was absolutely crushing the baseball in the minors. Hasn't been the case yet. It's still early, but batting under 100, only one RBI at this point. Are we worried about Jack Cags here? Or no, we're not worried about him.
I'm not worried because for as much as he struggles, I still believe this was the right call to bring him up. Him hitting 50 homers in AAA and batting 400 or 350, whatever it is irrelevant at a certain point. His increase in potential ceiling is not going to come from the minors. I'd rather bring a player up and see him struggle and work through the things in the majors, which is where you need him, and you need his power. The Royals need the power in their lineups. I'd rather see him struggle at the majors and learn things and have great hitters like Bobby Witt around him, Sal Perez, a veteran that has done it for years, and teach him along the way, and the hits will come, the power will be there.
And I'm telling you, the hits will come, the power will be there against Michael Lorenzen. Take a look at Lorenzen's last 26 and 2/3 innings pitch time. How about a 6.41 ERA and an xFIP of around a 4.5? Tauchman and Vargas today. Remember those two names. Take a look at Mike Tauchman's 54 bats against right-handed pitching over the past month. How about a 279 ISO, a weighted on-base percentage of a 429? Miguel Vargas, 77 at bats against right-handed pitching over the past month. A 286 ISO and a 374 weighted on-base percentage. The first six guys in the lineup today for the White Sox, extremely low K rates here. White Sox in a sweep? Could be. We got more Major League Baseball next.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you can't really, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. This, I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Face is the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces in the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, those Dodgers are playing today, and Clayton Kershaw will be on the mound. But let's understand this. The Clayton Kershaw you're getting today, Tom Vecchio, not the Clayton Kershaw that we've expected to get over his career. You take a look at this game, 9:57, 9:58 on the rotation, a 2:15 start. Dodgers, Cardinals, Kershaw versus McGreevy. Total in this game, overnight, Tom, 9.5 has dropped to 9 here. A favorite for Kershaw on the Dodgers overnight, around that -155 price point. You're not getting as low as -135. Numbers crashing. Is that right? Because Clayton Kershaw, he ain't right now.
I think the number is right if you were betting on the Dodgers as a whole, not betting on the starting pitching, which can be difficult, to kind of allude or, describe this point because so much of baseball in the first, portion of the game has to do with the starting pitching. I'm not betting on Kershaw today. I'm betting on the Dodgers and their great lineup, who's been a little bit quiet over the past few days, going up against Michael McGreevy, a pitcher that has an extremely small sample size this year. If you look back to this year, it's only 5.2 innings. Last year was at 23 innings. And again, this is a former first-round pick. He does have a little bit of pedigree. But last year, 20.9% strikeout rate, 2.3% walk rate is absolutely phenomenal. 0.39 home runs allowed per 9. But since the beginning of May, versus righties, Ohtani, Max Muncy has come out of nowhere after an extremely terrible start to the season. Pages has been awesome. Freddie Freeman, Dalton Rushing, their catching prospect, all with ISOs at 150 or higher. So when I'm betting on the Dodgers on their money line, which I already have, it's about the hitting. It's not about Clayton Kershaw, who has been terrible. And when we look at the Cardinals lineup, Contreras, Arenado, their own Pages, Herrera, Donovan, Walker. These guys can get on base. They don't strike out a whole lot outside of Walker's up at 44%. But these guys get on base. There could be some runs scored today.
No, absolutely can be. And by the way, let's just focus on Clayton Kershaw at this point right now. Last 30 days, Tom, only 15 2/3 innings pitched, and that's over 4 starts. You take a look at his ERA, 5.17. xFIP number matches it at 5.17, which isn't great there. You take a look at his whip, 1.66. That means runners are on base, and that's damaging news here. You take a look at the lineup. It's not a great Cardinals lineup against left-handed pitching, but you see the temperatures, Tom, in St. Louis today? 80 degrees, wind blowing out to right field. That's going to help. I look and say there's 2 right-handed batters in that lineup that have my focus. Wilson Contreras, his last 33 at-bats against lefties. How about a 300 ISO and a 465 weighted on base percentage? And Nolan Arenado, been trying to give this man away for free in that city. Anybody take him. He's actually been really good against lefties, Tom, over the past month. 32 at-bats, a 233 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 359. But here's the trouble as well. Like, you do have a pedigree young pitcher on the mound in McGreevy, but that's a good lineup for the Dodgers with some hitting conditions today that you say to yourself, can I just get an average start? Like, if you could get, Tom, 5 innings pitched and 3 earned runs against, Clayton Kershaw, which isn't a great day for the pitcher, you probably still end up with a win in this game, no?
I would love to think so. Listen, if Kershaw, considering what he's done so far this season, if he gives you 5 and 3 runs, you would love to take that if you were Dave Roberts. Yeah. Like, listen, we got through this series. It was tough. We come away with the last game of the series. You give me 3 earned runs. The offense, you guys got to get out there and do your part as well because they got shut down yesterday. 1 run yesterday.
Yeah, come on. I mean, enough with that nonsense. I'm telling you, Wilson Contreras, people, file that name away for the end of the show. He will be in play for your boy DRS. You know who else is in play today? The Mets. The Mets want to play every day. Why? Playing good baseball. And the rest of that division playing terrible baseball. And you're facing one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball history in the Colorado Rockies. Today's game, 9:59, 9:60 on the rotation. A 3:10 start out in Colorado. Good temperatures here. Light wind blowing in. We should get some hitting. Tyler McGill's on the mound going against Chase Dollander. That lineup here, look at that spread. 255 overnight, Tom. You ain't even getting that discount anymore. It's minus 285 and higher at some outlets, and a total of 10.5 across the board. Runs are going to come today, and primarily looks like it's from the Mets.
Yeah, it's always from the Mets. Even with the fractured toe for Francisco Lindor, he was back out there yesterday. He looks good. Dollander has been struggling since he got called up. We talked about him his first MLB start when we were on. His strikeout prop, or at least I was. He hasn't been good. Part of it's due to Coors Field. Part of it's just the struggles overall. But, man, you give me this Mets lineup in a spot to score. Alonso, even Brett Beatty, since beginning of May, 277 ISO. We can look at him. Obviously, Soto, we know we can throw in there. Brandon Nimmo had a couple hits last night in RBI. McNeil, Lindor. There's no wrong way to go about approaching the Mets. If you want to take, I would assume you need 4 of them for an HRR market. I know those aren't up yet on FanDuel, but there's no way it's only 3 when they're at Coors in this spot. They're going to be minus 700 for 1 HRR. And then McGill on the other side, awesome. 30.4% strikeout rate. The 10.8% walk rate is a little bit concerning. So if you are looking on the other side, I wouldn't mind going to a Hunter Goodman. You could throw in a Ryan McMahon. Tovar's now back on the IL, but their young player Jordan Beck at the top of the lineup, I got some interest in him.
Yeah, he's not too bad. And by the way, you take a look at Dollander too, because you hit the nail on the head. You pitch at Coors, you're always going to get that sort of, you know what, it's like a bell curve you got to grade the guy on. Because if you look at the season as the way it's going on, his first start was on the 6th against the Athletics. That was at home. He got bombed in that game. The next home start he had was against Washington. He got bombed in that game. The next home start, he actually was very good against Atlanta. 5 2/3 innings pitching, 1 earned run. The next start at home against Detroit, absolutely bombed. His last 3 starts, which again were the 12th, the 18th, then a couple weeks delay until the 3rd of the month here in June, they were all road starts. His last 3 were on the road. He's back in Colorado where he hasn't fared all that well. And you look at that Mets lineup as a whole, you look and say, my goodness, going up against right-handed pitching over the past month here, decent weather conditions, Lindor, high ISO power number, Nimmo, high ISO power number, Soto, Alonso, McNeil, Beatty, and Young, all elevated numbers and not huge K rates as opposed to the final 2 or 3 batters in the lineup anticipated today. So I look at this, but you're right, Tom. It's easy to say, yes, I like a lot of guys for the Mets to get RBI. It's easy to say I like a team total, but you're not getting price points as they are at Citi Field. You're in Colorado. So it's like, hey, I need a touchdown to cover the team total. And if I take an RBI, great, Juan Soto got it. Plus 100 at best that you might get at this point right now. So it is tough to grade the Mets. But today, I do think the Mets hit. I really do, Tom.
Yeah, and this is what we always talk about. It's like sometimes there are spots that we absolutely love, but there's not always an effective way to bet them. Even laying the -1.5 for the Mets on the run line is -176, and I don't want to do that. So you got to find creative ways to go about it, and it's probably in the prop market.
Yeah, we'll see. I expect a lot of those guys on the Mets to hit, but again, the price points don't necessarily associate with, I'm excited to take that wager here. We'll see if more of those numbers hit than not, but I do think the Mets absolutely hit today. Just picking out the right guys at the right price, that's a little bit different. Who wants to head to Sacramento? This guy does.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalpost got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Face. It's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces in the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
The mics are hot. The temperature's hot. The show is hot. It's hot in Sacramento. It's time to get down to some business here. And again, Tom, I sometimes just keep bringing up the same topics that I absolutely love. It's the fact that we had 2 of the worst hitting ballparks in Major League Baseball. miraculously turning to the best hitting ballparks in Major League Baseball. Why? Because Oakland no longer plays in Oakland. They play in Sacramento. It's been fantastic. Tropicana Field, hopefully it never comes back. And they just played Steinbrenner Field down there in temperatures, heat and humidity, and the wind blowing out consistently in a minor league ballpark. It's been fantastic, and we'll talk about that now. 971, 972 on the rotation. On the road, the Baltimore Orioles, who are, as of late, playing better baseball than what we have been seeing over the previous couple weeks. Taking on the Athletics, who opened the season with some hope, and now that hope is dimmed, but there's always hope when this team is playing at home because, again, it's a minor league ballpark, and that ball flies. Sugano versus Lopez on the mound. That is a 4.05 start. The total in this game, you know it right off the bat. It's like looking at Wrigley. Opened at 10.5, going to 11. You know it's going to be hot. You know the wind is blowing out here. The side for itself, a minus 145 or so, still hovering in that same direction as a heavy favorite towards the Orioles. Love betting out there in Sacramento, Tom. What are we looking at today from your perspective here?
We're getting runs today, and I want to make one quick point when you reference it as a minor league ballpark. It's the dimensions aren't a minor league ballpark; they're just normal dimensions. But because there's no stands surrounding it, like the weather, the wind, it impacts things even further because there's nothing blocking the wind essentially. Yep. So we're getting runs. We got runs last night. Again, I talked about this with Brady and Adam last night on in-game live. We got the over last night. I expect it to happen today. The Orioles, like you said, playing much better. Their hitting is better. Their pitching, still pretty terrible. And the pitching for the Athletics has always been terrible. So when we're looking at Sugano versus Lopez, to me, this is just a non-factor. I'm not laying juice with the Orioles, a team I just don't think is good. But if we look at the hitting options for both teams, Carlson, Lariano, Rutschman, Holiday, Mullins, all the players that we can trust. Now, some of these numbers have struggled for a Mullins, Henderson, and O'Hearn, who probably may not even be in the lineup. But I think the runs will actually be coming from the athletic side of things. Lawrence Butler, Soderstrom, Blade, Wilson, and Rooker are the players we can be trusting. Langeliers just went on the IL, so I think we get runs top to bottom. Butler, Soderstrom, Rutschman are my favorites.
I mean, take a look at Jacob Lopez on the season, right? 98 total batters he's faced, which isn't a lot, but an ISO against 238, a weighted on base percentage of 401. Decent strikeout pitcher, but again, that ground ball rate of 20% on the season, man. Like if you're getting line drives and getting the ball in the air in Sacramento, that's certainly a recipe for disaster. But the two guys you nailed for me that I love, Adley Rutschman here, 22 at-bats over the past month against lefties, how about a 316 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 523. Ramon Laureano, only 12 attempts that he's had against left-handed pitching, but a 364 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 368. A lot of those guys with limited at-bats, but really good numbers against lefties. And again, you just bump it up in that environment. Day-to-day basis here, you got to love it out there. I mean, you really do. It's just fun to say, even if you took it under, it's like, oh, it's there. And then you just, late innings, bullpen comes in, ball flies out of there, and it's just the way it is. From a athletics perspective for me, I don't necessarily love it because I think Sugano's a better pitcher here than Lopez, but Lawrence Butler and also Tyler Soderstrom crushing right-handed pitching, Tom, over the past 30 days.
Yeah, that's where I would ultimately look. Like their lineup is a little bit weaker. Their top prospect, Nick Kurtz, is still on his way back. He's not fully healthy. Like I said, Langeliers, who is a good hitter, he's been put on the IL. So their lineup is a little bit weaker overall, but you just trust a Butler, Soderstrom. And then I would say Jacob Wilson, who does not have power, but he has that on-base, low strikeout rate. Give me the hits. You can throw him into an HRR. That would be fine.
Yeah, it's a fun game to bet there. Certainly some of those guys will appear on the card, but I definitely wrote down Rutschman and Laureano as two guys I certainly want to pinpoint in that game as we keep it moving. Staying out on the West Coast in San Francisco, not a great hitter's ballpark, and certainly a pitcher of pedigree that hasn't been a great pitcher on the season. That's Strider versus Raup. 961, 962 on the rotation. 405 start from San Francisco. A total opened up at 7.5. Now sits at 8s here. We take a look at the side, which is roughly a pick 'em at the opening number. 115s to 120s, Tom, here, and now sits about the same. We'll spend some more time on the next side of things here to talk about this game. But if you want to start out on Strider, just hasn't looked the same since coming back from injury here, Tom.
He hasn't looked the same. The Braves haven't looked the same as overall. And I said this about Strider a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it's taking more time for pitchers to come back, especially a pitcher like him who threw so hard, unbelievably, where he's back, but he's not at 100%. Like he needs to get his legs under him, so to speak. And he won't be back at full strength till next season. It's like they have to warm up the arm back to the level that he was. I like the Braves coming with the win. I just don't think teams lose this many games in a row.
Yeah, we'll handicap this on the other side. Temperatures normally like they are in San Francisco, 62, 63 degrees, dead winds blowing out the center field of around double digits. The question is, can Strider bounce back? Can the Braves bounce back? Let's find out next.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you can't really, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. This, I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Face is the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Tom Vecchio, Donnie Rightside here, trying to find out what's wrong with Spencer Strider on the season, Tom. Now, granted, only 82 total batters faced, but a 286 ISO against, a weighted on base percentage of 395. Last 30 days hasn't improved. 61 batters he faced, a 294 ISO, and a 402 weighted on base percentage. Now, here's the one problem that we had, too. You sort of build back to coming back from that devastating arm injury. And right when you're about to come back here, you get a start in, you go down with the hamstring injury, which sort of, slowed down the process. But if you are going to have a good start, you can do it against the San Francisco lineup, and you can do it in that ballpark today. But I'm sort of on that wait-and-see approach. I don't like the game from either side, Tom. 2 starters here, yep, we can get good starts. Probably don't see a lot of scoring, not a lot of batters that I have circled in this game, but just Strider bouncing back for the Braves' psyche would be huge. Put it this way, Tom. Strider goes out 4 innings, pitched 6 earned runs. You might as well just finish the season off right now for the Braves.
It's true. And I think the Braves need this win, like you said, simply from a psyche standpoint. The losers of 6 straight. And it's the way that they're losing on a walk-off yesterday. Was it Matt Chapman? And then again, the other day against the Diamondbacks. A 6-run lead going into the top of the 9th. And you can't come away with that. So it's the hitters aren't hitting at times. The pitching starts off strong with Bryce Elder the otthe day, and then the bullpen blows it, and they're not getting hitting. It's all over the place. The fact that you're scoring like 10 runs against Diamondbacks and you lose a game is terrible. When it comes to Strider, when you're looking at some of his numbers, fastball velocity is down, off speed is down, breaking is down. Like there's no good sign from him. His strikeouts are plummeting. I have no interest in this game. Again, I have a small piece of the Braves money line just because I buy into overall baseball variance. I don't think teams lose this many games in a row. So I'm not betting on Strider. I'm betting on the whole of the Braves, which I understand hasn't been great, but I'm not that worried about the Giants.
You take a look, too. Like, I'm just looking at some of the numbers here. Like, for the Braves to win the NL East now, like, they were hovering right there around the favorites. They're 15-1 now at the FanDuel Sportsbook. The Braves to make the playoffs, the yes is now a plus 260 number. The no is a minus 340. So let me just ask you this quick question in passing here on them. Is there life in the Braves? Because we still have roughly 4 months to go. It's a good organization. The players aren't playing up to their capabilities. They are burying themselves a little bit earlier, but there is wild card chances that you might be able to snag. Any buys on the Braves, or what do they have to show you, Tom, up to the All-Star break? Is it playing like 700 baseball? Like, is that what it takes?
The lowest level would be like, just play 500 baseball. Play 500 baseball and give me hope that you would be in a spot to make a reasonable move. Because there was some report this morning from Bob Nightingale, I think, saying that the Braves aren't looking to make moves, maybe outside of Marcell Ozuna, who's going to be in the FA, but they most of their team locked up long term. So they would be dismantling things when it's just really one down year that was compounded by injuries dating back to last year. So I would say just sit tight with the Braves. Like, you won your World Series. You got to go through a rough couple of years and you'll be back at it next year.
Yeah, hard to be a buy on right now on the Braves. We'll see. Long time to go. Good team, a lot of talent and some pedigree there of making the postseason. We'll see if they can put it together, which starts maybe with Strider on the mound today with a solid start against the San Francisco Giants. Staying out on the West Coast here, let's get to Los Angeles. Seattle and Los Angeles. That's the Angels and the Mariners taking place today. Kirby versus Anderson, 4:07 start. How about a favorite here for Seattle at a minus 140 price at the opening number? But we're down as low as minus 130s at multiple outlets here, Tom. A total of 8.5 up to 9. We take a look at George Kirby. It's like we're still waiting for the rebound. 13 2/3 innings pitched over the past month. How about an ERA of over 8.5? George, what are you doing out there?
Not a great start from him. Obviously, not a great start, I should say, since he returned from the IL. He didn't start at the beginning of the season, but with what Cal Raleigh and the offense, surprisingly for the Mariners, has been doing recently, and they're not winning games when the fact that the offense was the low point for them over the past few seasons, things have flipped. The pitching was the thing we could etch into stone for the Mariners over however many years, and that's not the case anymore. I don't think the Angels are a good team. I've said that before. I will hold strong to that. I don't think Tyler Anderson is a good pitcher. I will continue to hold strong on that. The offense from the Mariners is cooking right now. Now, Julio Rodriguez did get hit with a line drive from his own teammate last night, and I'm not sure if he's going to be playing today, so their lineup could be a little bit weaker. I still think the Mariners come away with the win. George Kirby is a good pitcher, and I'm willing to back him, and I want to be ahead of the curve because once he snaps into form, those lines are going to start to grow. I want to jump on it now.
We take a look at Tyler Anderson, not a great pitcher by any stretch. It seems like every time I put him on the pitcher's list, like again, Tom, 28 pitchers over the past month, minimum of 5 innings pitched. The bar is low. And again, 28 pitchers. He's 28 again today. 25 innings pitched, a 5.76 ERA, and a 5.80 xFIP number. But here's the issue that we have. Look at the last 30 days for Anderson. 117 total batters faced, a 367 weighted on base percentage, and an ISO of 212. Lefties cracking him, righties cracking him, doesn't strike out anybody. But here's my issue. Like, Cal Raleigh's been fantastic, thumping home runs left and right. He's got unbelievably good numbers against left-handed pitching. He's a switch hitter. He'll be batting from the right side that he should rake. But everybody else in that lineup, Tom, J.P. Crawford, Randy Rosarena, Garver, Moore, Solano, Tavares, Young, and Williamson have been atrocious against left-handed pitching. So how do you weigh this out in your mind? A guy that has a high xFIP year after year, start after start, going up against a team that hasn't hit lefties yet. Like, what gives in this game? Could this be a breakout? Because, again, Los Angeles today, Tom, 78 degrees, wind blowing out to center field around 10 miles per hour. It's really good hitting weather.
It really is. And, I'm just looking at some of these props now. Cal Raleigh is plus 100 for an RBI. That is pretty thin, considering his next teammate, Rosarena, is at plus 160. So you would like to think that just someone get on base and someone's going to – I wouldn't even play Cal Raleigh minus 130 for 2+ total bases. Can you even trust the team total? Like, that's the question. Can you trust the Mariners team total, which is 4.5? It's tough, especially if Julio Rodriguez, again, a little bit banged up last night. If he's not going to be playing today, it's that much weaker overall. Maybe I just take a shot on Cal Raleigh for 2 RBIs at plus 250 and then call it a day. A smaller unit on that and move on.
Yeah, launch a bomb into the seats here with somebody on first base certainly can help you. How about from the Angels' perspective, Tom? Because Neto, Shenwell, Trout, and Ward all have high numbers. Also, Joe Adell's got some really good numbers against right-handed pitching. Kirby is struggling today, but your mindset is you want to be ahead of the curve here. Well, sooner than later, he's going to bounce back and not thinking that the Angels will have too much success at the plate against him today.
Yeah, the Angels certainly had a ton of power, and they've been putting on display recently, dating back to the series earlier this week with the Red Sox. They were scoring 6 runs in the first inning every game, apparently. So it is a tough spot. I think there's a part to like maybe grab some RBI props from the Angels, Nato, Trout, Jorge Soler. I believe he left yesterday's game early, and we saw Chris Taylor come in. But they score some RBIs, but maybe the Mariners still win. Like maybe they'll get to that point once 4 o'clock rolls around and find a way to play both sides, really.
Yeah, it could happen. Yeah, again, price points are there. Like Cal Raleigh should have a good day, but of course the sportsbook know that as well as you do. You're not going to get the greatest pricing on those said players here. Sunday night baseball, Tom. That's Boston and New York, a long feuding rivalry here. 963, 964 on the rotation. A 7-10 start tonight. A monster favorite for the New York Yankees with Rodon on the mound going up against Dobbins. Opened up overnight around that minus 200 price point. Those are gone. We're seeing as high as 230, Tom, in the marketplace now. 8s. As a total at the opening number, still sitting at 8 today.
Yeah, still sitting at 8. And I think the way to play this would be to just go to the Yankees run line. Like I really think that that's going to be one of my favorite bets of the day when it's all said and done. And I haven't gotten there yet. And of course, if I get there, I'll tweet it out. You guys will see it. I think the Yankees run line and the over would be the place to make. I'm not laying the minus 220 on that. That's obviously not a spot to go. But the hitting has been front and center in this series right from the start on Friday night. If the Yankees are getting to Garrett Crochet as they did yesterday, who again, they came away to win, the Red Sox, that is. But if they can get to Garrett Crochet and then get to the bullpen, they can get to Hunter Dobbins and they can put up runs by themselves.
I'll tell you what's interesting, too, because, again, you're looking at Dobbins. He's 7th on the card today on my pitching card out of 28 pitchers with just the XFIP numbers. It's 3.34, which is really good. You take a look at him struggling a little bit over the past 30 days and the season against left-handed batters. You got some good lefties in the lineup. But also, that Yankees lineup today, 1 through 9 expected here, Tom, against right-handed pitching over the past month. Every single batter is at least a 325 weighted on base percentage or higher, which includes guys like Gresham, 349, Judge, 514, Bellinger, 386, Chisholm, 618 since returning back, Dominguez, 352, Volpe, like everybody is absolutely a smashing machine here. How does that weigh against the Red Sox here? More baseball talk and picks coming up next right here on Pro Baseball Today.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you can't really, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalpost got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. This, I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Face is the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces in the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Sunday, pro baseball today, the place to be, the SportsGrid Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. Tom Vecchio, Donnie Rightside here. All the games now, we got you covered. We had everything up and down, the pitchers you need to know, the batters you need to know, and now it's the plays that you need to know. We'll take a look at some pitching props, some hitting props here, but one of my favorite sections here, Tom, is selling the people on something that they might not be looking at for possibly some good plus money. Where is a player and what direction, Tom Vecchio, are you going on today?
Yeah, let's start off with a game that we both expect to have plenty of offense, and that would be the Reds hosting the Diamondbacks. And let's go to Elly De La Cruz, not for one, not for two, but 3+ total bases at plus 195. Obviously, fantastic hitting additions. Going up against Zach Gallen, we look to Elly versus righties, a 147 WRC plus. He's got a 242 ISO. Yeah, he strikes out a little bit of amount of time it happens, but Gallen this season, 336 WOBA allowed to lefties. More importantly, a 502 xFIP. He has a low 18% strikeout rate, and most importantly, 1.22 home runs per 9 allowed on a 40% fly ball rate. Elly, solo shot or a triple, give me a single and a double. We get 3+ total bases at nearly 2-1.
That's great, too. That's one swing of the bat, right? Boom, solo home run, signed, sealed, delivered, plus 195. Don't have to deal with it. Or you get that nice, just knocked one into the gap. I'm fast. I'm going to take this from a double to a triple and cash that in. So good plus money numbers there for me. I'm going to go with a team that not a lot of household names on it, and that's for sure. But the team that's playing much better baseball right now, it's the Chicago White Sox taking on the Kansas City Royals today. Michael Lorenzen is on the mound, and as I've stated, his last 5 starts, 0-3, 26 2/3 innings pitched, an ERA of close to 6.5 and an xFIP of right around 4.3. I looked at that lineup where he struggles against left-handed batters, Tom, so I'm picking up 2 left-handed batters on the Chicago White Sox today. Batter number 1, Mike Tauchman, 54 at-bats against right-handed pitching over the past month at 279 ISO and a 429 weighted on base percentage. And how about this? A K rate of under 15%. Miguel Vargas batting 4th in the lineup today, 77 at-bats against right-handed pitching over the past month. How about a 286 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 374 and a K rate also under 15%. My bet today, each one of those players to record an RBI. That's a parlay. 7-1 price point here, Tom. How do you feel about that one?
I mean, the White Sox, are they the best team in baseball over the past 2 days? They're better than the Dodgers. White Sox are 2-0. Dodgers are 0-2. No, but the White Sox have been much better over the last week and a half, whatever it might be. And Lorenzen's not a pitcher you need to be worried about. Low strikeout rate. He leaves the ball in play. They get it done today.
Let's have some more fun here. By the way, you guys always take fun props here. It's always to the over. Not necessarily the case with pitching props, people. We love ourselves a good under here. So, Tom, your pitching prop and your pitcher today that you are going up against.
Yeah, pitching prop. Let's go to Jack Flaherty for the Tigers, under 5.5 strikeouts. It's sitting at plus 102. Listen, Jack Flaherty is a great pitcher. I've said that before. He's got a 28.8% strikeout rate this season, but he's going up against an awesome Cubs lineup. 20.1% strikeout rate the Cubs have versus righties this year. That is the 7th lowest in the league. The Cubs also have a 122 WRC plus a 187 ISO versus righties. So they don't strike out. They put the ball in play. They have power. And while I expect Flaherty to get decently deep into the game, I don't expect him to be racking up the strikeouts. And listen, if that power shines for the Cubs, he gets 4 innings, 5 earned runs, and he gets pulled quickly.
Yeah, get them out of the game here. That's always the good part. Like, rough them up early, get them pulled out of here, because past couple weeks we've been looking at some of these numbers, 3.5 or less, and it's been paying off for us. And for me, I'm also going to take a look here at a pitcher with 3.5 or less. Who's it going to be? A young rookie upcomer? Is going to be Senzatella for the Rockies, or just some bad pitcher who's probably going to be in there 2 to 3 innings? I'm going Clayton Kershaw. Look at his last 15 2/3 innings pitched over the past month here. How about a K-9 rate here of 4.60? That's terrible. Old Kershaw was like 12 or 13, man. The guy was an absolute machine for most parts of his career. He's not the same pitcher right now. So you take a look at Clayton Kershaw on the mound today, 80-degree temperatures with a wind blowing out today going up against St. Louis, which isn't a fantastic lineup, but if you remove Jose Barrio on that last 9-hitter, who's only had 3 at-bats against lefties over the past 30 days, everybody outside of Pages and Newport has fantastic K-rate percentages against left-handed pitchers. And you take a look again, 70 total batters faced on the season against Kershaw. 11% is his K-rate today. Rough this guy up, cash in some tickets. So I'm going to take under 3.5 Ks at a minus 115 price here. So we have Jack Flaherty under 5.5 Ks and now Kershaw under 3.5 Ks. We're the no strikeout crew here today. No strikeouts, Tom. None. Let's go.
No strikeouts, allow some runs, get pulled early, or simply the lineups don't strike out as they don't to begin with, and they cruise through the game, but the strikeouts just simply aren't there.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to it here. We love ourselves some home run props here. Tom's Bombs. 3 players going yard today. Who are those 3, Tom?
Yeah, let's get to it with Jose Ramirez for the Guardians, plus 470, 196 ISO on the season versus lefties. He's going up against Brandon Walter. He has a 193 ISO overall, 48% fly ball rate, 34% hard contact rate. We look to Walter in 2023, 1.42 home runs per 9 allowed and a 573 xFIP. Return to Brandon Lau for the Rays, a game which starts in about 20 minutes, plus 360. He has a 139 WRC plus, a 237 ISO going up against Connor Gillespie, who's allowing 3.07 home runs per 9 versus lefties in that hot hitting weather with the wind blowing out in Tampa. He allows a 47% fly ball rate to lefties. That is a great spot for the hitters on the Rays. And then finally turning to Trevor Larnach for the Twins, a spot that we both love today. He's up at plus 350. He has a 135 WRC plus and a 188 ISO going up against righties. Bowden Francis, as we talked about, 341 ISO allowed versus lefties this season, a 3.62 home runs per 9 and a 48% fly ball rate.
Hey, love to see it there. The plus money goes through. Just need to get one of those there to get into the plus money category for me. My 3 home runs today. Come on now. The dingers are going to be flying out. Ketel Marte. He said, Donnie, he's a plus 240. That's a crazy price. I wouldn't take it. Understand this today. The Reds, where they're playing, small ballpark, 75-degree temperatures at first pitch, wind blowing out at close to 10 miles per hour. And if I had glasses, I would go like this and have to take them off to try to read this. Because Ketel Marte's last 69 at-bats against right-handed pitching, a 509 ISO and a 548 weighted on pace percentage, with a K rate of under 12%. Like, that's not 3 or 4 at-bats like, ooh, he hit a home run in his last. No, that is 69 at-bats with a 509 ISO. Just to put it in layman's terms, Tom, I think that means he hits a home run every time he steps up to the plate. I think it's that simple. He's going yard today, plus 240. Pete Crow Armstrong at a plus 540 price. The guy's on fire here. Give me Pete. And then Wallner. I'm going to join Tom arm in arm with the Twins today, plus 255. Get out of here. We'll be back up next. Don't go anywhere.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you can't really, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. This, I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Face. It's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Tom's bombs, Donnie's dingers, going yard, left and right. That's the anticipation for today with some good spots here against pitchers and also some good weather conditions as well. But we don't stop there and say, okay, you gave us a couple props there. Are there any left? Of course there is. So, Tom, give us another prop bet that we can get after today, plus money, whatever it is, it's going to win. What is it? Where are we going?
Yeah, this is the one that I tweeted out earlier this morning. Josh Smith, Freddie Freeman, each to have a hit. It's minus 130, but I'm using the FanDuel 50% boost to get it up to plus 114. Realistically, I wouldn't play it at minus 130, whatever it was, without the boost. But we like Freddie Freeman in spot going up against Michael McGreevy for the Cardinals. And I really like the spot for Josh Smith going up against Trevor Williams for the Nats. And again, there's a little bit of rain potential in that Rangers-Nats game, so keep an eye on that. But good hitters, good contact rates, low strikeout rates against pitchers that don't strike out and they pitch to contact. Give me the plus 114 each to have a hit today.
Like to see it here for myself. I'm going to go with a hit, run, and RBI parlay. Just the one type. Keep it simple here. I'm going with my 3 favorite batters of the day and pairing them up. And that's Ketel Marte, that's PCA, which is Pete Crow Armstrong, and also Wilson Contreras of the St. Louis Cardinals. All 3 of those guys. And once again, if you're new to the show, Don, what's an HRR? You just need one combination. Not all 3, one combination. One hit, 1 run scored, or 1 RBI. If all 3 of those players do it, it's a plus 119 price point. Love to see that getting the plus money out here for the people. And now, Tom, one of our favorite parts of the show, which I got lost on last week. I'm looking for a comeback here. Dogs, baby. Give me those dogs. Beware of the big dog here on a Sunday afternoon, Tom. Dogs are hungry out there. Who's biting? Who is it?
So I'm going to the Cubs, and this number has shifted dramatically since we were talking about it earlier. So it's plus 116 on the Cubs money line. Right now I'm seeing it's minus 104 for the Cubs. That's a pretty big dramatic difference, but there's a little bit of rain in the forecast, and Jack Flaherty is on the other side here. I just spoke about Jack Flaherty under strikeouts. So if the rain comes through and Flaherty gets knocked out, we kind of neutralize the pitching difference or the pitching gap between Jack Flaherty, who is better compared to Cade Horton. But coming into it, I was saying, listen, we get the Cubs at plus money, one of the best teams in the league. We're getting them at plus money. I will certainly take that when the pitching matchup could be neutralized. If the rain does come through, I would say continue to shop for the best lines available if we're not getting a massive plus number on them anymore.
The people are chanting PCA. Hey, look, maybe PCA goes 3 for 4, a bomb, 4 RBIs, and that carries the weight of the difference. Getting that plus money is what we like. And by the way, this wasn't a correlation, people. Tom and I only need one city that we're actually looking forward to here to get that plus money down. The Chicago White Sox for your boy DRS. Look at that price point, plus 135. Yes, Vasil's on the mound. I don't know what I'm really going to get from him, but I know what I'm getting out of Michael Lorenzen, and it's not going to be good. And I understand that the Chicago White Sox on the upkick right now. First 5 batters in the lineup today for us. Talkman, Midroth, Benintendi, Vargas, Palacios. We even throw Teal in there. The guy's got 3 at-bats against right-handed pitching, but a 757. Not a plane. That's his weighted on base percentage right now. And I expect Talkman. I expect Vargas to hit today. Tom, plus 135. The Windy City connection today we got going on.
We got Windy City for the hitters. You got Windy City for the money lines, I should say. You got PCA for a home run prop. He's in the HRR. You talked about Talkman and Vargas, if I remember correctly, at 7-1. Big Chicago fans, they come through either of the teams, and you're coming away with plus money on the money lines.
I'd love to see it here. And by the way, we are creeping into noon, which usually, Tom, you get about an hour off between the Major League Baseball. Hey, settle in, see what you got. You got a 12-10 start today. Heat and humidity in Tampa Bay. But that's not even the important question, Sam. The important question is most people are like, I'm getting a bite to eat before these games start. You getting a bite to eat after the show, Tom Vecchio? Or are you going to the gym? What are you doing over there?
No, I'm going to eat. Already got some food made, ready to go. Just need to be warmed up.
Wow.
Got some chicken burgers, just to be clear about that. I got to get that going.
Now hold. Oh, wait a second here. No cheeseburger, chicken burgers?
Yeah, chicken burgers. Donnie's upset.
You're getting me upset now. Now, I'm starting to question a lot of things where maybe we have to analyze more. Like, forget about a show that has, like, Major League Baseball every weekend or the early line or, like, coast to coast. We need Vecchios, like, around the world. Like, you need to take us to places where you eat and get this type of items here. Chicken burger. I'm not saying I don't like a good chicken sandwich, but a chicken burger? Wow.
I made it. I didn't buy it. I made it.
Wow. It's going to the grill? Like, how's this made, by the way? Stick it on the show.
It's the same thing as anything else. It's very simple.
Now, if you tell me you put that thing in the microwave, now I'm going to lose my mind at this point. You know what I mean? Hey, I made myself a chicken burger, throw it in there for 2.5 minutes, and away you go. That's what you get on a baseball show: picks and chicken burgers. Stand me behind the wheels of steel for Donnie and Tom. We'll see you next Sunday right here on Pro Baseball Today.